everybody, how's it going? Christian from Treasure Town here, and today I'm super excited. I'm going to be talking about 8 different coin collections that you can make for $100 or less. So I've been trying to think a lot about different ways that people who are newer to the hobby or looking for a pursuit to kind of tackle within a pretty reasonable budget can take as a cool avenue to do it. So I thought a fair amount, thought about some of the ways that I personally collect coins. I have a few that I definitely recommend and some that are just kind of like thought projects or cool ideas that you might like. So let's get into it. I've got them listed in no particular order, but we'll start with number 1. So for number 1, I'm going to be doing the bread and butter of a budget collection, and this one, most of these I should say, are going to be US coins, but not all of them. I have some other cool ideas, but for this one it's the 20th century typeset. So a typeset in this case is something where you're going to get one type of coin for every design. So that means if there's a Morgan dollar, that's one of the more expensive ones that's going to be in the set. You want to get one Morgan dollar, doesn't matter what mint mark or date there is. You also have to get one of every coin, whether it's a common Lincoln Memorial cent or a tougher to find barber dime, for example. So this one, I think the pricing will range right in the $100 range. And you're probably not going to be able to get coins that look super, super pretty, but you should be able to avoid things that are like hold or super, super cull. So that's definitely one that I would start out with. It's a great way to showcase American history. And then as you go beyond that, you can then extend that to try to go back further. Obviously, we're not talking about the 1900s gold coins, but the entirety of US typeset collecting, that's something that you could expand to if you find that you really enjoy it. And plus, if you have it, especially if you have it in an album or something, that way you can display American numismatic history in a really cool way. So there was a fair amount of silver in the last one, but number 2 is a basic silver stacking set. And you'll be able to get, at the time that I'm making this, premiums are pretty high, so maybe 4, but I think that you could get 5 1-ounce coins for about $100. And the way that I'd recommend doing it is getting them from the government issued bullion, so something like an American Silver Eagle, a Canadian Maple Leaf, but then there's also things like Britannias from Great Britain, there's South African Silver Krugerrands, Austrian Philharmonics, Chinese Silver Pandas. There's tons and tons of them out there, a lot as well from Australia that you can get. I actually have an awesome link. sdbullion.com/TT is my link for recommended items that I think are good picks. So if you purchase using my link, it'll really support the channel. So if that's an avenue that you do go down, please do so. But I think that would be a good way to get into the silver realm. And then you also have a little bit more of a broad collection. Instead of having just like 4 or 5 of the exact same silver coin, you have a little bit of a collector just feeling to the overall set if you can get them from all around the world. Number 3 is also a really fun way to collect, and it's something that I personally do in addition to that typeset that I mentioned earlier, and that's what I call a world coin country typeset. So the idea is the same in terms of collecting a broad variety of coins. In this case, you're just getting one coin from every country. So there's lots of different ways to do it. It's a fun way to collect because you can get tons of different countries when you're beginning. Obviously, there's tons of them that are really challenging to get and are going to be kind of expensive because they maybe only made a few coins, that sort of thing. But you can definitely get your first 50 countries for a very low, cheap price, and then have a lot of fun having a pretty wide variety of coins to show off. And I'll kind of pan to what I've done. I've actually then expanded that long term, not to every country that's in existence currently, but also small provinces that existed or countries that existed but weren't really recognized, but they were minting their own coins. So there's tons of creativity. I even did I'd include colonial, like Connecticut made coins, as did Vermont or New Jersey. So long term, there's just tons and tons of different ways that you can expand that collection. And I think it's a really fun way to do so. Number 4 is what I'd call a denomination type set. And I think that you can really focus on the weird denominations for this one. But for $100, I think that you'd be able to get examples of a half cent, which were made in the 1800s, as well as a 2 cent, also 1800s, except more a little later in the 1860s, 1870s, I believe. Then you can get a 3 cent coin. There were some silver ones that are a little more expensive, like 1851, and then those range for like 15 years. But then there's also clad non-silver ones that are a lot cheaper. The expensive coin in this set is going to be the 20 cent coin, because I think they were only made for 4 years in the 1870s. And these can be pretty expensive, but you should be able to get a problem-free one. It's going to be really, really worn, but one that's not like badly scratched or damaged, just something that's been circulated a lot. And that way you'll have a half cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, and 20 cent coin, all of which are kind of crazy to think about transacting with in the modern day. Now, number 5 is another kind of thought experiment, but you can get 1 gram of a ton of different types of precious metals, and that can also include some more of the expensive ones. The big problem with this one is that the premium on 1 gram kind of forms of these bars are going to be pretty significant, to the point that it's probably not a great idea from an investing perspective, because you're paying for a lot more than 1 gram to get that 1 physical gram. But you could do that at this point. $55 is a spot price for a gram of gold, $25 is a spot price for a gram of platinum. Then silver, copper would be pretty cheap to get as well. But at the end of the day, you could be owning a little bit of gold and platinum, so that would just kind of be a fun way to do it. And I think that you could be able to achieve that if you found the right person selling it for under $100. So number 6 is a year set, and I'd kind of recommend to do it with pretty good condition coins. But say you're born in 1956 as an example, you could get a really nice 1956 Franklin half dollar, as well as a Washington quarter, Roosevelt dime, Jefferson nickel, and Lincoln penny. I don't know why I was forgetting that, Lincoln wheat penny, in good conditions, and that would be well under $100. You could also commemorate a cool year like 1943, for example. There's some really gorgeous artwork on those coins. Walking Liberty half dollars that are uncirculated look gorgeous. Plus, you also get the silver to 35%, war nickel, which is kind of an anomaly, as is the steel and zinc cent that was made in that year. So there's tons of different things to look at. Obviously, as you range way back, it's going to be a lot more difficult to make it in a reasonable budget, but there's tons of different years that you could honor, whether it's you being born or something like your great-great-grandpa or something along those lines. Number 7 is not exactly a coin collection, but it's a numismatic collection. I think one that should be considered, and also these can kind of be mixed and matched. But this one is a paper currency collection, so you can definitely pick up with a budget of $100 some silver certificates, maybe a red seal, maybe some star notes and star note silver certificates, and you might be able to get a bit of an older note. I'm not exactly sure what the lowest dollar amount for gold certificate notes is. I bet it's out of the $100 range. Probably should have researched a little bit better, but maybe you could get a gold certificate. I know that you can definitely get North Africa and Hawaii notes, which were printed during World War II, and they were used in those regions respectively. Say the Axis powers took over in North Africa, all of these North Africa yellow seal notes would be declared not worth anything as they passed over into the enemy hands. So that's just one example of some cool currency that you can get. World paper currency, similar to world coins, can also be very, very cheap just to assemble a basic collection that composes or includes a lot of different world countries. Now, number 8 is a little bit annoying to think about, because you probably can't ever complete the full picture without pouring in thousands of dollars, but and I'm kind of happy that I thought of it because it's creative. It would be a mint mark collection. So a mint mark typeset where you're trying to get as many different US mint marks as has ever been made. So what that would include is the 7 main ones. There's 2 that were made on early 1800s gold that are going to be way out of your price range. If you're looking to collect in a budget way, that's Dahlonega and Charlotte, which is down in Georgia and North Carolina. But the 7 mints that you can collect from is Philadelphia, the P mint mark. Also, some of those coins don't have a mint mark. D for Denver. There's S for San Francisco, W for West Point, CC for Carson City, and Manila, which is actually in the Philippines. And I think I'm forgetting, maybe I forgot New Orleans, which has an O mint mark. But yeah, there is even a mint in Manila, Philippines that was made by the government, has the M mint mark. And there are a few coins from there that aren't too expensive. The CC mint mark, a lot of people also associate with being super expensive. All the Morgan dollars are really tough to come by, but there are some of the smaller denominations that you can pick up very worn examples for pretty low costs. So all you need is one of those as well. But I think that that would be a cool collection to have, because you just show all the different neat places that the United States has been making their coins. So those are 8 ideas just to throw out there for fun budget collection ideas. Now, I wouldn't say that all of these necessarily are great ways to store your value if you're trying to make money on coin collecting, but I think that at this level, it doesn't need to be necessarily an investment. You can have a lot of fun, and the joy derived from owning a cool collection like this would probably far outweigh what it would be if you were just going into this solely with the purpose of making money on the hobby. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. As I said before, please do comment your thoughts. I'm very interested in hearing them, and I'll look forward to reading the comments. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more content, and get in touch with me or contact on treasuretown.yt.com, my website, my Facebook, Treasuretown, my Twitter, @treasuretown_YT, or my Instagram, @treasuretown_YT. Looking forward to seeing you on some of my other videos.